Hello, Michael。这个月我们知道呢，关于高资产净值人士有一个特别值得关注的法律，刚刚在加州政府通过。那我们的州长呢也刚签了他的生效的条约。你可不可以简单的给我们介绍一下这个法律它的大概的内容是什么？
Well, this is basically a response to a planning technique of lawyers, mainly California and New York lawyers, being a little bit too aggressive in their trust planning to avoid California and New York income tax. So for California, as we all know, California income tax is pretty high. The only way to get around that as an individual is to leave California. That's unpalatable for most people. Most people don't want to leave California. California is a nice place to live. So smart planners thought, well, what if we tried to move the assets? You stay here, we move your assets to Wyoming or Nevada. I'm a Wyoming attorney. It was popular for a number of years. And the assets would be moved, stock or interest in a private company or a company about to go public. You'd move those and you'd move them to, they often call wings, nings, and dings, Wyoming, irrevocable non-grantor trust. And these trusts were incomplete for gift tax purposes, but were complete for income tax purposes. And this would essentially say that the assets were locked up in Wyoming or Nevada, and there's no income tax in that state because it's and you only paid on the federal because it was a non-grantor trust. The trust settled the taxes itself, and you get some tax savings. This was annoying to California, and after these years, they've decided they're going to put the kibosh on that. So now all of that income must flow to the grantor's return this year and going forward.
所以总结一下，就是以前关于加州的高的收入税相关的一些 planning， 可能呢在这个法令生效之后呢，会没有任何的会有很大的影响。那你之前呢，把你的资产通过转移到其他的州进行的一些关于收入税方面的 planning 呢，会受到极大的影响。那 Michael 能不能介绍一下这个法令是从什么时候开始生效呢？是从今年这个月通过开始生效，还是会追溯到以前？比如说今年的开始或者之前，能简单的介绍一下吗？
Yes, so it begins this year. If you are the grantor of these kinds of trusts, you must begin to include that income on your 540 starting this year. You do not need to include, there's no back tax portion, so you don't need to go backwards past 2023, but you will need to report it going forward. Critically, you are not required to dissolve these trusts or otherwise liquidate them, but the income taxes will now flow to your California return. So good planning, if these were planned not just for California state tax purposes, there are other purposes for these, asset protection planning, other purposes, besides just taxes. If you had that design and it was good for all seasons, then you're fine. If not, then you may need to think about what you're going to do with this trust because it is going to be not a tax savings like it was originally pitched as.
所以即使是以前我们建立的信托的话，虽然你不会因为这个法令的通过去欠以前的税务，但是呢，法令通过之后，从今年开始，你将会要支付加州方面的税务。好的，非常感谢 Michael 今天的分享。如果大家有任何的问题，欢迎联系我们。